How are you? How's everyone? Good to see you. I see a bunch of you already here. It's good to see you. It's right now 1:04 p.m. So that's why it's sunny. Today I wanted to do something different, so I'm outside. Hamjambo kutoka Kenya. How are you? Those from the US. And it's really nice to have you today. Um, I I was talking about a bunch of other topics based on the questions that people asked me, and I indulge you and challenge you and ask and request that if you're able to kindly share your questions if you have any of what you'd want to know about in the chat. So um, before we go ahead, just wanted to show you a bit about of my background. I was trying to be adventurous, and yes. All right. So, out of my 21 questions, I had mentioned in my previous two episodes about my travel, the time differences, the food, talking about diner, houses and their structures, roads, um, not everywhere being like New York, accents. And then I remember talking about birds and birds and other thing like Subaru and Subaru. And there's a thousand of words that I grew up saying differently than the way they're being said. So, so much to talk about, but so little time. So, bear with me. Today, I was to, yes, Alessandra, I saw birds, not birds. So, today, I promised to bring a guest, but then the guest is me. So, surprise, surprise. Yes. So I figured that I finished talking up addressing some of the questions that I have, and then I'll bring the guest in the next live, which might not wait until Wednesday. The guest will talk about the various challenges in applying for visas or work. Um, yes, the guest that I'll bring in the show will talk about applying for scholarships, visas, student scholarship, I don't know, all those applications. And she'll tell you about how she navigated her own application to move from Zimbabwe to the US and all the what the process entails. So just like I promised, this is a learning channel. This is, I hope, to be your connection to very many things. If you have questions, please write them in the chat. I already see birds. Assalamu alaikum to you. Alaikum assalam. And I saw Aju Bridget laughing. Thank you guys for joining. And today I'm just overwhelmed because I have the highest number I've ever had in this show. Um, So, welcome and feel at home. One thing about the US is that I think the US tries to be different than other countries. Literally. When in Kenya, people are driving on the left side of the road and they are sitting on the right, huh? And they're sitting on the right uh, steering wheel side. In the US, it's the opposite. People drive on the right side of the road and the steering wheel is on the left. the doors open in the opposite direction. Instead of using meters, centimeters, kilometers, the metric system, they're using miles. So it complicates everything. I cannot say that I am 1.85. Wait, am I 1.85 meters? Yes, I can't be any height. But hey, so they use feet, inches, and all that. They talk about ounces instead of kilograms. So it's even hard to say, to talk about measurements, because you have to convert these things in your head. And if you're not a mathematician, then the number system is going to be hard on you. As you already know, they use the dollars and not shillings. And I think the Kenyan shilling has been doing amazingly well, because there's a time it was like the conversion was way, 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 way low. And that is a bad thing. So, hey, from India, Mohit Kumar, welcome to the channel. Nabeen Bhattarai, thanks for the compliment. Actually, Kevin Hart is one of my favorite comedians. Welcome to the channel. I'm really glad that I have a very broad audience from all over the world. So I'm really humbled. Um, yes, so I was just talking about the metric systems and how everything is different. In temperature, uh, I got used to saying temperature in degrees Celsius. So when you talk to me about it's 37 degrees Celsius, I know how hot that is. But then you go to the United States and it's no longer 37 degrees Celsius. They call it in Fahrenheit. And that might be something in the maybe 80s or 90s, if you convert it. So conversations about numbers is different. Um, yes, time. Oh, time is American time versus, I think, every other timing. So on my first day, let me tell you a story. So on my first day in the United States, first day at Appalachian State University as a master student, we were told, we were given an orientation schedule, and we were all supposed to report to the orientation venue, where would be divided into teams and then would be shown around campus, right? And so the schedule said that we're going to meet at 7, then have breakfast, and then after breakfast, we're gonna divide into teams and go in different parts of the university. So this guy, having grown up in Kenya and got used to Kenyan time, figured out that, looked at the schedule, and I'm like, wait a minute, we are still guests, man. I'm new in this country. So I think these people are gonna cut us some slack, right? Because I don't expect them to expect me to wake up at 7 to just go attend that orientation and all that. So I think what they meant is we meet at 9 p.m., maybe 10 p.m. So guess what I did? I was like, no, because I was also very hungry. I said, I'm not going to wait until 9. So let me try and be there by 8:30. I think I'll be among the earliest people to arrive. So I wake up at 7 and prepare and head to the venue at 8:30. And guess what I saw? Nobody. Nobody was there. So I sit at the venue thinking that I'm the first person, and so I'm impressed at myself for being there on time. So I was waiting for other people to join me and waited for like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Then somebody walked in and I was like, hey, so at what time is everybody going to show up? And then she asked me, show up for what? There was a meeting and I was like, yeah, there was an orientation that was supposed to start at 7. So we were supposed to meet here at 7. And she laughed at me because she knew how late I was and that the program had gone way further. So, one thing about American time and African, Kenyan time, Mexican, I don't know, European time, when they tell you to come to the venue at 7, be there at 6:50 because 6:50 is when everybody will be already there. So when you walk into the venue at 7, you're already late because I think for the early comers, it's rude for you to walk in after the person who summoned the meeting has already entered the room. So when they say the class starts at 7, you should be there at 6:45. The lecturer or the teacher or whoever the person you're going to be with will be there 10 minutes or 15 minutes prior. So you don't want to enter at 7 because at 7 is when he'll start the class. Okay? So in America, 7 is maybe 5 minutes early. If they say the party starts at 2 p.m., the party starts at 2 p.m. That means everybody will come before 2 p.m. so that the party can start at 2 p.m. You understand? Entiendo. Oh, I salute you from Mexico. That welcome, brother. Welcome. Um, yes. Yeah. So I'm glad that all of you are able to join my channel. Um, I'm talking about the differences in experiences as an international who came to the United States. And I just talked about some the differences in metric systems and measuring and weighing. And I have mentioned about time differences. So one thing that also is shocking about the time, other than being late or being early, is when it's a presentation, let's say a class or business presentation of any sort. If you're told to present in 5 minutes, in many other places, like I've worked in Kenya, presented my projects over there. They can say the presentation length is 15 minutes, but you can always present until you're done, which could be even 20 minutes, right? And everybody will still be listening. But in the here, according to my experiences, if it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. Anything you say after that is being disrespectful. So always in the United States, be mindful of other people's time when they tell you to appear anywhere at the exact time, appear there minutes before that time. When you're told to cut a speech to 20 minutes, make it 19 minutes or make it 15 minutes and have 5 minutes for questions. All right, guys? Yes. So, some of the things you need to be wary of. One other thing is I wanted to talk about is the movie and reality. You know, we watch a lot of movies about made in America, and people are always fighting. There's violence. Um, when I was in Kenya, I usually thought school system in the United States is the most fun. You know, because I watched a lot of high school musical. Any of you watched High School Musical? So I thought that every college, every school is that cool. Like people just go to school and dance and sing and compete and break dance, right? And every day is party days. Well, I think their schools are still very cool because students just are very relaxed and chill. They go to schools with phones, things we did not do. Alessandra said, "We're all in this together." Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. So, um, it's not always a music day. People are actually studying, um, and students take their majors seriously. I think the difference between our schooling system in Kenya versus schooling system in the United States is in Kenya, most students are encouraged to compete. Like, I want my student to go to school to be number one, to be the best in the class. You know, you are encouraged to compete and to outdo each other. You want to always be the best in everything. So I think this is both good and bad. It's good because it encourages each person to do their best and to strive and be the best, right? But in my opinion, it's not as good because it promotes individualistic behavior because everybody wants to be the best. They, you know, they don't care about other people and how other people are learning. um, it's I don't know how to put this specifically, but the competition might not be doing us a favor because instead of people uniting as one and working through problems and uplifting each other, you end up having favorites. Teachers have favorites of kids who they think are the brightest, and parents as well. They start having favorites. They'll be like, "Oh, my daughter is the favorite because I see a promise. This might end up being a doctor." And somebody who doesn't perform would be considered not bright, not promising future. And I think this is a very wrong outlook that is promoted by the education system that encourages competition. So in America, it's more of students getting the knowledge and getting to pass their exams and assignments and finish and move on to do their majors, the things they dream about, the things they really want to become, you know. So instructors will take a lot of time explaining concepts. They will even have questions that are exam like to give students. You're like doing your exam, in most cases, you're doing your exams in class. You've already been given a list of questions to go through, and your exams will be the same questions you guys have been discussing in class. And on top of that, the lecturers or the instructors are always available to discuss this with the students. And they have office hours. You can walk into an instructor's office anytime that is assigned for office hours, and they can take you through what you did not understand in class. And also, they have these positions called teaching assistants and students who volunteer to teach other students who are also assigned time. So the curriculum is designed in such a way that it only promotes understanding of the material other than competing and being the best. And I think this is why people are thriving in this country, because whatever you're passionate about, you get the best and you want to know the best of it. While in the system which I learned in Kenya is the 844 system is like only the best are promoted to the next level. So we would do an exam, and then if you're 50 students in a class, they will rank you based on the performance in the exam. And then um, yes, like Beth has said it, the competition and comparison lowers the student's self-esteem, which is demotivating. Exactly. So there are students who might be really good at something else, like arts. Some are just naturally they're maybe talented in many other areas. But then the subjects you're doing are diverse and covering a wide area. So averaging all these subjects is not helping in any way, because in your strength, in your stronghold or something you're passionate about, you get an A, but every other place you get a D, and that brings you down. And you grow up knowing that you're not as good as anybody else can be. And that is has really demotivated people. That's why so many people have even dropped out of school. So many people have quit studying. They don't believe in education. So that's why I think the American education system is way better, because people are encouraged to major very early in what you are passionate about, and time is devoted on you growing through that. Um, yes. So thank you, Stephen, for joining. And yes, young Monte, it's a blessing to have you here as well. Thank you guys so much. As I said before, um, I'm going to be bringing for you guys guests who are specialists in various things. So at the moment, I have a guest for you who is a musician, is talented, and is an American. She has lived in this country ever since she was born. She's amazing. She has a background in so many areas because she grew up in a multicultural place. So I think she has so much to share from an American perspective. And whenever she'll be in session, I urge you to ask any questions um, which you'll have, and probably she will share her social media information so that you guys can network even after the live session, because I'd like this session to be empowering. To I would like us to grow together, to build networks. There's also another guest who I'll bring here to talk about her experiences in applying for jobs from a different country. So she grew up in Zimbabwe. I think she applied for an academic visa to the United States. She has guided many people to apply for jobs and to apply for scholarships, and she has a lot of insights. So I'll put out the invite to a live session, and I'll share. And any of you guys who are interested, or your family members or other people who are interested in pursuing opportunities overseas, it doesn't have to be the United States, it can be any other country. So the visa system works the same. Um, any dream is valid, and I encourage people to keep dreaming, because that's the only way that you feel motivated and hopeful, and that is the only way to get you excited to get out of bed to chase that dream. So I encourage people to not only dream, but to come, network, hear other people's experiences, learn from them, grab opportunities when they present themselves. Like I said, I'm already your resource. If you have questions, ask me, and I'll be able to help. If I cannot help, I'll link you with people who can help you. Okay? So, I can't believe it's already 25 minutes. I always aim at 20 minutes because I do this live session during my lunch hour and I only have 30 minutes for lunch. So I usually do 20 minutes and then 10 minutes I eat. But it's been a pleasure having you guys. I had so much to talk about. Time has not really allowed me to be able to talk about all the 21 questions. I've only talked about so far 9 questions, but so that means we still have so much to talk about, so much resources to put together and share with you. And I hope that next time you will come back with your friends and let this community grow. The first time I started, it was only 2 people. The next time, it was five. And this is the third time. And I saw an all time high of 15 people joining at a time. So this is really a great gesture that you guys have shown me to even spare the little time to spend it here with me, listening to my endless talking and my English and Kenyan accent. So I really don't take this for granted. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the support for even subscribing in less than 2 weeks. This is the third week. We've grown to over 270 subscribers. And this is just, I'm so humbled. So thank you for your support. And next time, I want to bring somebody to, please, and take this to note. I want to bring somebody to talk about relationships, talk about dating, because this is a big, most of the questions I've got are people asking, I come from a very social community where people just network, people are social. It's like, unlike America, where if somebody doesn't know you or they're not your friend, it's hard for them to talk to you, or to relate. I mentioned all that in my past chat, in my second episode. So if you haven't watched that, please go find it. That's one thing I've struggled with. So I'll bring somebody to talk about the dating scene in the United States. Some people think it's so easy. Like in Africa or in my community, in my experience, if you like somebody, even if you're shy to approach them, you talk to somebody who know them and be like, hey, could you be having the contact to that person? And then somebody gives you their contact, and then you contact them, they get back to you, and it ends up happening. And you guys even start dating. you know, People meet online, people meet without seeing each other, then they start building a relationship and make it work. I think that's a hard thing to do in the United States. If somebody has not met you or known you somehow, oh, it's so hard, man. So even if you've seen me post some really beautiful ladies on my Instagram and you like them and you'd like me to share their contacts, I don't think even if you contact them, if they allow me to share their contacts and you contact them, you, I don't know. I don't want to say never because there's always a first time to everything. But this is a big, wide area that I would like to address in my channel next time. So I hope to bring a guest. We'll talk about the differences in dynamics of dating, cross cultural, and within the United States, and how it compares to a Kenyan dating experience. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Gerardo, my friend, I see you here. Kellen, I see you here. Stevo, I see you here. I salute all of you. Alessandra, Beth, and so many of you who are able to join. Thank you so much for the love. I love you all. And until next time, peace. Please remember to share the link. Don't be selfish so that other people can also catch up to this amazing content. Thank you and bye. See you next time.